Microphone check 1 2 1 2. This is your host, not some baby, and this is another episode of Swingers After Dark. And I'm with my main man, D.A. Santiago. You know, he's the co-host of Lady Vixen Radio show on Blog Talk Radio and other platforms that you could tune into his show. So, you know, just tell my audience or, you know, anybody else who just so happen to tune in the premise of Lady Vixen show.
The premise is, and hey, everybody out there, and we're on iHeart as well, so you can find us on iHeart. The premise is really good conversation. We take on many topics. We want people to talk about stuff that sometimes is not talked. Our platform is for everybody to come, join in, learn from some of our intelligent callers, and just, you know, bounce ideas off of, you know, whatever the topic is. But the main thing is that we talk about real life situations with people and what's going on out there. And if you tune in and you hit us up, you can see the plethora of different topics, and that they all pretty much, a lot of people, maybe 80 to 90% of the stuff you can relate to, or it hits home.
So it's you, D.A. Santiago, and who else co-hosting the show?
We got two. My co-host is, well, we call her, she's basically the Lady Vixen, is Casey Blaze, and the other one is Beloved. So we all have kind of, you know, different takes and different angles on the way we broach the subject. So it's really we cross pretty much between just us three. We pretty much come from three different angles and pretty much have the mindset that maybe not everybody, but the majority of people listening can relate to one of us.
So how long have you been running the show?
We've been on right now. We're over 100-something episodes. We've been doing it about a year and a half. And we've been real successful. We've reached maybe about 3-4 months ago over 1.5 million listeners live. And non-live, we're somewhere around 2-3 million. So
tell the audience some of the topics that you and your co-hosts, you know, I saw the bullying topic. I saw like a lot of topics like bullying and marriage and stuff like that. But break down some of the topics that you speak of.
Yeah, we talk about everything from relationship topics. We talk about one of our biggest shows was about narcissism, who's actually is a narcissist. Pretty much, we talk about some of the prison stuff, some of the stuff that's happening in the communities. We had a topic of relationships, LGBTQ community, which was one of our big shows. We did a show that was talking about how they're trying, not the community, was somebody else was trying to ride their movement, which is the P, which is the pedosexuals, which it was a really big show because, of course, the community is not having that. But it's a lot of different things. Like I said, we talk about, you could pretty much name it, anything that's going on, from bullying, from any relationship topics.
And community and political stuff, too.
Yeah, absolutely. And we try to stay a little bit away from the politics or getting too deep into politics and religion, because we know that's a really polarizing topics, both of those. But we cover it a little bit within some of the things that they relate to.
Because people get in their fee-fees when it comes to, you know, certain topics. So how do you pick your topics for the Lady Vixen Radio show?
Well, pretty much what we do is we sit there in our think tank and we decide between the three of us what we think people would be interested in. So there's no really real, you know, rocket scientist to it, no rocket science, no method. We just sit there and we just say, listen, what do we want to talk about today? A lot of times on Tuesday, it's just Casey and I, so we take pretty much a relationship topic. And usually on Thursdays, we cross the political aspect.
So what is your vision for the Lady Vixen Radio show?
Our vision is to continue to grow as we have been, and this year is a very vital year because we're looking to see what and whom, you know, or, you know, areas that we can reach. We are international. We've reached about 30, 40 different markets. We've covered international listeners really well. We are in Japan, Canada, and India is our three top listeners besides this country. So what we want to do is just continue to grow, and then eventually, of course, reach more people and become an outlet or a source for people to get information and learn things. We did some interviews. We plan on doing some interviews with some experts as well. So, you can get some good information from us.
Because I do notice that you have engagement on your Facebook posts when you talk about certain episodes.
Yeah, we do. And we encourage that. So the thing is, we don't want anybody to feel like they can't use that platform to voice their opinion on what's going on today or any of the topics. We have had people in academia. We had law enforcement call. We had doctors call. We have a lot of people. We have very cerebral people that are calling. So it gives credibility to our show because we have people that are calling and listening that, are pretty much, you could say, experts or have some type of background in some of the things we talk about.
So how did you start the show? Was it your idea or was it one of your co-hosts' idea?
Well, we go back even further than that, Casey and I, because we're both writers. We had a show called Urban Fiction News, which was pretty much a show to help give information to up-and-coming writers, publishing information, how to write. We both are writers. We both have been through the gamut of publishing. And from there, we took about a year hiatus, and then we came back with the Lady Vixen show.
And you started in August 2019, correct?
Yes.
See, I pay attention. I pay attention.
Yes. Awesome.
So it's like, how do you distinguish yourself from other podcasts or radio shows? Because it seems like everybody and mama are coming out with their own show.
That's very true. Very true. And what we have done in a very rudimentary way, because we haven't been in the studio yet. We're not doing a visual podcast yet. There's a lot of things that we can add to it. So the success we've had with the very basics of podcasts are amazing. How we separate ourselves is that we bring a professionalism. We try to really show that we know what we're talking about, that we put some thought into it, that we know how the time and with each other. My co-hosts and I, we've learned to, bounce off each other's the ideas or the thoughts or the comebacks and everything. And we've done that pretty well, where people just, when they listen to us, they think we've been around even longer than a year and a half.
So were there any instances where you wanted to speak about something or one of your co-hosts wanted to speak about something and I was like, nah, that's too touchy?
Absolutely. Quite a few times. To get specific, there's some things that, like I said, probably cover the umbrella of politics and religion. So we kind of stay away from that. I am not a religious person. So, and pretty much my co-hosts are not as well. So we don't want to get into that, because we know when we did have people that were their background or a lot of their root to their argument came from religion, we can see sometimes they're myopic and they just think one way. It's not broad. It is that way, whatever their religion dictates, whatever their doctrines dictate. And that's just what it is. We can't say, listen, but what about this? So we kind of stay away from that because we don't want to get on the show. We don't want to get on the show and just pretty much turn it into some type of debate, argumentative show.
Yeah, because, an elder once told me, there are three things that you shouldn't really talk about. That's politics, religion, and sexual preference. Yeah. But it's like, so what do you see? What do you see the show going towards in the future? It's like, what do you have in store? Yeah, what do you have in store for the listeners in regards to Lady Vixen Radio show?
Well, of course, those things that I said we haven't done yet is to bring a visual podcast. And to continue to add,
like YouTube friendly.
Yeah, we're going to expand. YouTube friendly, of course, is one of our steps, first steps actually this year. But we already offered a couple opportunities to go in, in studios. So, just to continue to grow, to continue to bring. Well, we're going to expand the show, of course, to the 3 days, maybe 4 days. And also, instead of an hour and a half, we want to do maybe 2 hours. But also, all of that is just part of the growth, the growth process. And if it's growing and people are accepting it, of course, you're going to try to add more, give them more of what they like. If they like it as you know, we can see that they do. We're going to give you more. We're going to give you more interviews. We're going to give you better music. All those things we add to it. Of course, there's going to be people that want to commercialize and also do certain stuff like that. So we're going to try to bring all that stuff to the table and just show people that you do have an outlet for that. If you have something out there that you want to advertise on our show, we also want people. We can work with people to get their stuff out there as well to our listeners.
And this has been another episode of Swingers After Dark, and this is your host, Nasun, baby. Check out my website at www.nasunblaze.com. That's www.nahsunblaze.com. And check out my ebook, You, Me, Us, Them, The Swinger Manifesto. It's on Nook, Kindle, iBooks, Google Play. Go get it. Shoot me an email at swingpodcast@gmail.com. That's swingpodcast@gmail.com, and hit me up with any questions and or concerns that you may have. Rate, share, subscribe, and comment on this podcast. Yeah, dig. And on that note, until next time, peace.